Chess, nonsense, and analysis. Hi, dear viewer. So we are continuing on our series on how to improve in chess. Let's jump into it. So if you look at this game, this was a position from a game from the Soviet Union Championship in 1990. It was played between Smirin against Eingon. So the main thing here is the fact that, okay, maybe White's pawns are going to be weak. The pawn on d4 has no other pawn defending it. That is a plus for black. But there's also another plus, which is a bit hidden, and that is this formation over here. The formation of h3, g2, and f2. And interestingly enough, it can be on all four parts of the board. For example, it could also be on c2, b2, a3, right? I'm talking about pawns. Or the pawns could also be on a3, b7, c7, or indeed like this, f7, g7, and h6. So the point, though, about this formation is that if we can manage to get our knight to the square f4, the knight becomes very difficult to kick. And in an endgame, it stops the king also from getting into the center. So in this position, I'm going to place knight f4, very strong move. Knight is very difficult to move. And now he's not unhappy about exchanging pieces. Notice that pawn takes is not possible because of knight d3, and the pawn will be picked up. So there we are. The squeeze starts. g5 is an excellent move, wanting to bring the king in. So king goes to h2. White is toying around with the idea of playing pawn to g3 to kick that irritating knight. Rook b3, stopping that move. And then the king comes in. Rook d3, and a little bit of shuffling around. And interesting enough, it was noted by some analysts that maybe black could also play here h5. This did not happen in the game. And there's a very hidden, nice pattern. For example, let's say white plays rook a2, black could then continue with knight takes h3. If king takes, then g4 check, captures the knight, and then attacks this pawn. And of course, if pawn takes knight, then the rook will capture the knight. So this was another way of playing it, but Eingon finds another very nice way. It just simply maneuvers his knight to f5. And now here, very nice move, attacking the feather. Of course, if white plays g4, then the square f4 will be weak. The knight will move to e7 to g6, and then at the right moment, jump in. Now, the e3 square is weak, right? So the king goes to g6, and the knight jumps in. And already some problems, in white's position. Okay, white banked on this, but Eingon has got a very nice solution, sacrificing the exchange and a whole bunch of pawns. And he wins very easily. I'm going to go very quickly past this part. Right. So we saw a very interesting struggle where the knight went to f4, pawns on h3, g2, f2. And the knight went to f4 and harassed the white king. I then played a game in Pretoria, and I played this game against Musatwe Simutowe. It was played in 2012, right? Let's have a look at the game. So I play a Sicilian, and he plays this bishop b5 for Solimo. Okay. Yeah, there's lots of theory here, d5 and so on, but okay, I played this way. And we're going to blitz through the game because I want us to get to the critical moment in the game. All that one can see is that there's a weak pawn on d4. I'm putting pressure on it. I play f6 because now I'm attacking the center. Now, maybe I have ideas of 96 and 95. Very comfortable position. Exchange. And we get to this position. So yeah, white, of course, black is slightly better here because white has got more weaknesses, and black has got a weak pawn on d5, but the bishop on f7 is a natural defense of that pawn, right? But it's not so easy to figure out how to continue. How does one continue? I don't want to play b6 because I could be weakening my white squares, in one variation or the other. Uh, I don't want to exchange because I will definitely lose the c file. So it's not easy. And actually, if I did not know the game between Smirin against and Einborn, maybe I would have chosen the wrong plan and went astray. However, now once again, what we're talking about, we're looking at that formation, H3, G2, F2. What does it mean? It means that we need to get our knight to F4. Once we get our knight to F4, our knight is a nuisance because the knight will attack into white's territory, and generally to be very difficult to remove the knight. So I play knight e6. So you see, I have seen the concept and I repeat it in a position where I needed to remember it. Of course, I take with the queen to control the c file, check, rook c2, and immediately I jump in with knight f4. So there we are. Now, what is my next idea? Well, my bishop is not well placed, so maybe I will play g5 and put my bishop on h5. That would be my next plan. My rook on the 7th rank is very strong. So he plays knight e1, rook c6, because I don't want him to control the c5. And now I play g5. Knight d1, I play knight e6, reminding him of the weakness on d4, and then bishop h5. So now I'm giving him an option. Does he want to play g4? But if he plays bishop g4, I will play bishop g6, followed by bishop e4. And this pawn will most probably fall. Or does he let me take on f3? Well, he chose to let me take on f3, but afterwards the game becomes relatively easy to put away, right? So here's how the rest of the game, I've got a pass pawn, the knight goes back to f4, and right here, I start now to attack his pawns, because if he tries to move out this way with king e2, I will play, of course, h3, right? And the pawn is threatening to run. So he plays king g2, knight f4, and my king joins in. This is desperation, but now I have knight c6 after b7, king takes. He resigned from early on, and that one can then use when needed. Yeah, and yeah, till next time. With that, I will say